the main room. We will have a conversation here, quite simple, quite clear. That our model, leads ourselves to something like this. We have the comparative measurement between two structures. Let's suppose that I have my structure trading, I have my structure bank, I have my outsourcing regulators, I have my outsourcing accomplish maker, I have my outsourcing regulators, I have my outsource accomplish makers. I will observe that my structure alpha as traders has a division inside as North America and Europe. Here, in the same way, we'll have the alpha and the beta. But we are not considering the geopolitical area, only the function. It means that we force the integration of them, and this association by pattern of business will unveil the complementarity that you need, and we observe that our model as astrophysics can be applied in many areas. When we had this conversation 1 year ago, I think, about the use of the spacecraft, which was the ISS, kind of observing the Earth, of course that we are talking very serious. And in the same way, we will have an extra argument here as an astrophysics program, considering the Space Agency America, the European Commission, and maybe some interest on it. Maybe we will have, and we will work with the KGB. We have this on mind. It's a possibility. Then we will observe that we had a conversation in the same way using the social media, suggesting that this humble and independent effort as academic effort and self-supported activity, that the America can have the complementarity relation between Democrats and Republicans. And we observe that we are forcing and trying to have this, for instance, at the regulators, by having the deadline as even 2028, we will have one chair at the Supreme Court, which is a Republican, and one as a Democratic. I think that's something like this, to observe the pattern and ideas of to both, and have things that maybe will have something of to both as Republican and Democrats doing the regulation on American, international, and global events on 2028. That can be something as an agreement between to both, and this agreement can be something positive, 1 or 0, or the corruption, which implies the association of two both, because indeed the corruption is a contract. You can corrupt anyone, alone, implies that has any one. Then we check that this kind of thing, we observe that goes like this. Doing the regression and having the observation and monitoring procedure from the various side arguments presented during this trial up to 2024, we had another cross-cut before 2028, which implies another boat launched before 2028, and have the third one on 2028. 3 boats at the overseas neutral area as jurisdiction, 1 boat bombed by the relation between the boats that we will have. Then we will check inside the boat 1. We will have the groups alpha, the groups beta. The groups alpha and the group beta, for instance, the east and the west, doing the, they complain about themselves until have the main cause complained by themselves, which implies the misfortune as period living that we are living as mankind. This will unveil and bring ourselves to the functional behavior as risk, which is the storage of variables as human resource, with internal touch product as corruption, having the lambda scam as variance of criminal scams. The variance of criminal scams going by the storage of bad human resource, have, the storage of something illegal implies that something with legitimacy is having the decreasement as capacity to operate, and this going as a service or a self-defense only goes by the decreasement of capacity to do the analysis of things. Then you will consider, for instance, abandon the COBOL, or do not have the optimization of things that you can work very well in the way we kind of had experience and presented that this model. You must have this bit of will to achieve the success by the success that you had. Indeed, you are having the successful, chain, and this is a chain of value. And the cultural destruction is covered by this, because you do not recognize yourself inside the mirror, and it doesn't matter if you are an Eastern element or a Western element, you are a corrupted element, feeling a corrupt system as international corruption. But shouldn't be like this. You must carry your dignity back. We will observe that the misperception of things as different sides only goes like this. If I have my drug dealer and my terror group, and my drug dealer is presented as a terrorist, this only goes by the registry made, which is the idea as deep web scam, having the fake records about elements to set the misperception on or the utilitarian information or a gap considering interest on it. It's segmented by this, and having the authorization by procedural failure in using procedures by wrongdoing. We met all things. We had this conversation with the traders, and that structure that you had in the very first part of the video. The functional model as astrophysics, we go like this. We have this, we had nothing considering this entire research and the elements proven, but we have all things as arguments to have the conviction as systematic conviction of you all until 2028 plus 3 bolts, but you all inside one specific bolt that will be bombed by the responsiveness. Consider that Isaac Newton as astrophysics. We will check that the behavior of you all go as a functional association by the density, considering the increasement of variables and the behavior as risk going by variance of this. The multivariance as a heteroscedasticity indeed will be presented as a homoscedasticity since you got the main cause as behavior. And before have the relation and the relativity between things, including the criminal behavior, you must have the existence, and before the existence you have something that exists or not. It implies that the function as density, which let's put 200 as something that exists as this pandemic event with the regression up to 1 will give the existence until something that exists. And this something that exists has indeed a qualification as an exponent -1, which put this as a reversal curve here. Observe that the investment saving curve and the liquidity money curve. The liquidity money curve by covered an operation without enough elements to cover the things you do, and inside your investment saving curve that goes like this, when you put, will have kind of the model like this. In the same way, it's the piracy and things that you pay to receive quality and receive threats, risks, and menace. And in many cases, you can complain this by the support made of those departments. After have this traced, of course, that this entire thing will be inside the system of existence as regular that is something function as density since from the very beginning, and thoughts and reasons considering ancient and century business like the international business machine, or the American telegraph and telephone, or that switch company like Burton on UK or wherever, that will be something like this. We put up to 200, which is the existence, but with the exponent what then they are for real. And your situation as comparative measurement, function density 0 up to the existence -1, indeed goes inside this. It means that you wait and have patience to check which area goes as existence, indeed going by success, to put yourself and corrupt this. Corrupting the success, it means that you have the disrupt even and the success as, you know, Western society or the Eastern society on arguments that they can observe that you are corrupted nowadays. But here, my friend, you are boxed, unfortunately, and you will be inside three boats. We will have you inside at least on one boat by the corruption made against this kind of things in the way I have in astrophysics. And we will observe that the relation as mc square, which is the concept of relativity, we have the mass multiplied by acceleration square. Indeed, before you have the mass, you must have the perception or sense about something that you can consider touchable, I would say. Let's say it means that before you have the acceleration, which indeed goes like this as a vector, you have something that do not exist, and you have the density as existence. One function density as capacity to understand this. When you corrupted this, putting yourself as a corruption argument here, you are putting something like this as a reversal thing. And of course that if you could get this, we will use this to explicit you hidden by chairs, considering that the quality as behavior that go as cowardice until not loyal behavior, and have maybe the cretinism as continuity of this, indeed will go by the very single perception of things as a density, considering the quality observed. The quality observed as a fail with the continuity points to the cowardice to put this fail down. This is something not loyal, and the continuity of this not loyal with your own institution, and even is a criminal institution as transnational organized crime or the mafia or the mob, which is mind own business, have focus. So the continuity is the cretinismus, but this maybe will not have something forever, considering the 2022, 2024, 2028. Bolts 1, bolt 2, bolt 3. Triple bolts, we will use the model that indeed you use it against the success. Have the complaint by yourself, you know, fingering each other, and we will have a single bolt here that we are using an astrophysics program to prevent, for instance, something that coming from the space that will bomb this bolt. It's not a bomb as itself, it's kind of an asteroid. See? Have a good week. Physics, Isaac Newton.